And welcome back here to Just the News AM. I'm Carrie Sheffield. Glad you are here. If you didn't hear the news, there was a big story this week about the rapper 50 Cent. We are going to talk about this with Counsel Ned. He's a Pennsylvania State Constable, and he's the co-chair of Project 21, which is for Black conservatives. Welcome, Counsel.
Thanks so much for having me on, Carrie.
So let's put up the tweet here directly from the rapper himself. He's obviously got a huge name, and we had to blur out some of the words that he chose to use in his tweet. Let's put that up on screen. He says, "What the blank? Vote for Trump. I'm out. New York, the Knicks never win anyway. I don't care. Trump doesn't like black people. 62% of you are out of your mind." So this is when he was looking at the tax rates for the Biden plan compared to the Trump plan, and he said, I'm dropping the mic, I'm leaving New York, I don't want these taxes to be hiked up. And he said that he wants Trump to win. Now, this comes also on the heels we talked about previously on this program about another rapper who certainly has made lots of waves, even leaving the rap group NWA. And now you see him going on and saying, Mr. Ice Cube, the Trump campaign has some good ideas when it comes to issues of race and helping Black Americans, saying some similar things. What is going on, Counsel?
I think there's some fundamental issues that are being addressed by these guys coming out making the statements that they're making at this particular time, but there's also sort of some underlying facts here at play. All right, so we've had the 13th Amendment to the Constitution, which outlawed slavery. We have the First Amendment of the Constitution, which guarantees everybody the right to free speech. And so, 50 Cent doesn't need sanctimonious white dilettantes telling him how to think and how to vote. I don't need that. Black Americans don't need that. We're allowed to think for ourselves now in these day and age. We're allowed to make decisions for ourselves. We're allowed to make decisions that are in our best personal interest, and that's all he's doing. The fact of the matter is that, there's an extreme left in this country that's pushing this radical narrative, which ignores all the facts that are actually out there in existence. We have record high employment in the Black community, record low unemployment in this country by percentage and by actual numbers. And people are just ignoring this fact. The radical left, the trust fund babies, all these people out there saying, oh, you have to support Biden, you have to support Biden, are ignoring the facts that more Blacks have been unemployed during the Trump administration than at any other time in U.S. history. I mean, Kamala Harris was pointing out also the inconsistencies in, not just the inconsistencies, but the wrong position that Biden has held for most of his political career.
And on the issue of busing in particular, she was asked about that by Stephen Colbert, and she laughed about what she said. She said, haha, it was a debate. So debates don't matter, apparently, what is said during a debate. But I want to move to another topic while we still have you, it's this question of Shelby Steele. We've been reporting about this at justthenews.com. Shelby Steele is a well-known Black conservative. He made a documentary called What Killed Michael Brown. This was the shooting in Ferguson that led to many riots and burning. And Shelby Steele is asking this question about systemic racism, or was it something else that led to those tragic events around the death of Michael Brown? And Netflix says it is banning this documentary. And Amazon also, we had a headline on our website, Amazon apparently had banned it, but now we actually went this morning, my producer went and looked on the Amazon Prime website. It is actually up there. You can watch this documentary, What Killed Michael Brown, but Netflix has said no, and they are not going to be, right now, relenting on this question of what killed Michael Brown. What's your read on that?
Well, it's interesting that they're attacking Shelby Steele, because he's probably one of the most brilliant minds of our times. He's truly a great thinker. And for him to put out this film actually sort of questioning and looking into what really went on to get put Michael Brown in the situation where he is, where he lost his life. And examining these things shouldn't be odd. Examining these things, the causes and motives of particular events that are shaping the narrative in our country. What country are we living in where it's wrong to actually look into these things and actually look at it with a critical eye and say, this is where things went wrong. This is the trajectory that he set on that caused this particular horrible event to happen. And for Netflix and for anybody else to say, well, the facts actually don't matter, it's absurd.
Well, and we're seeing lots of charges of bias by Netflix because on the one hand, they're also being sued by religious conservatives for the film Cuties, which reportedly has sexually explicit content with 11-year-old girls. Lots of pushback from religious conservatives. They are also giving lots of money to the Obama family to create content for Netflix. And then you have someone like a black conservative who is being censored in this way by Netflix, or certainly a pick and choose moment here. Real fast, counsel, as a black conservative, have you faced censorship on social media?
There was a period of time where I did face some censorship on social media. I haven't been as active on social media because I've just been honestly too busy between work at my parish and work as a state constable. I've just been sort of too busy to spend a lot of time in social media these days. But, it is real. It happens regularly. We've seen it. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with people voting with their wallets and saying, you know what, I'm not going to support Netflix anymore. I'm not going to watch this network, or I'm certainly not going to support this particular kind of television. But people have a right to vote with their wallets and their pocketbooks and say, you know what, enough is enough. I'm out.
All right. I have spoken to some conservatives who have already canceled their Netflix subscription because of these issues. We appreciate it, Counsel Ned.
Thanks so much, Carrie.